Welcome back to our channel, and thank you all for tuning in and thank you all for supporting us. And we shall continue to bring you the latest news as they happen. But if you are new to this channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please encourage us by doing so. My brothers and my sisters, the American President Joe Biden have warned that there will be no peace until the Middle East nation that the Nigerian Fulani government is supporting recognizes Israel's right. This warning also affects the Nigerian government because of their support for terrorism and human rights abuses and violations in Biafra land. The Fulani Nigerian government, who thinks that the American policies on terrorism will be softened after the oust of Trump's administration, were shocked when the Biden administration said that there has been no shift in policies and commitment to Israel's security, because when there is peace in Israel, there will be peace in Biafra land. Biden also said that until the region says unequivocally that they acknowledge the right of Israel to exist, there will be no peace. This is a good news, a very good one for Biafrans, because the Fulani Nigerian government have been leveraging on the tough stance of the American government to terrorize Biafrans. But now that has to stop, because Americans have put their leg on the ground. They have put their feet on the ground. That no more terrorism. They are not soft-pedaling their policies. And this is making the Nigerian Fulani government uncomfortable. They are leveraging on it. But now the Americans have put their feet on the ground. And now that they have been warned that their peace will also be taken away if they refuse to respect Biafran's human rights. If they refuse to respect Biafran human rights to conduct referendum and achieve freedom. The Fulanis are afraid of that. The Fulani Nigerian government, through the thought that Biden administration will support the Arab nation attack on Israel. They thought they would do that. After which the Arab nation will then support the Fulani Nigerian government. They will support them with weapons and ammunition and military personnel to complete the destruction of Biafra for the Fulani Janjaweed to take over. That was the plan. They thought it would go that way. And that was why the Turkish president was calling the late Buhari's impostor, calling the Nigerian presidency to make sure that they support the fight that the Arabs and the Middle East are planning against Israel. But the Americans are not standing on the fence. They put their feet on the ground and warned that there can never be peace if they do not recognize Israel. And that's a good news for Biafra. It's a good news, because the Fulani Janjaweed will have nowhere to get weapons. The Arabs can't give them weapons. They can't get weapons. And that is what has been troubling them. It is a big nightmare to them. Yesterday, they were claiming that their chief of air staff have been invited to the U.S. to inspect the Tucano helicopter gunships they are supposed to purchase, or they paid for. But the good news is that they're not going to get that. They are not going to get it. They are just fooling themselves and fooling the shallow minds. The Fulani government thought that Biden administration will support them. But they are shocked that the Biden administration are not supporting them. The former Kanuri Nigerian Chief of Army Staff, Burantai, a mass murderer of Biafrans. After what he saw happen to his successor, the late Nigerian Chief of Army Staff, Ibrahim Atahiru, after a simple prayer by our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, he saw it, and fear gripped him. He became afraid. He became afraid, and now he's begging for forgiveness, begging Biafrans, because he does not want to suffer the same fate as his successor. He doesn't want to suffer the same. His hands are soiled with Biafran blood. He also must pay for his sins. He confessed that he was used by the Fulani Janjaweed to do their dirty job. According to Burantai, he said that he was shocked at the way his successor passed away. He said that their job was to fight terrorist Boko Haram. But the Fulani Nigerian government dropped that fight. They dropped the fight. When they noticed, or when they found out that Biafra was already slipping away from Nigeria, they found out that they cannot do anything again to get Biafra back. And they needed to do everything within their powers to keep Biafra in Nigeria. But that is medicine after death. He cannot be forgiven. He can't be forgiven because the bloods of Biafrans are crying for vengeance. He killed a lot of shy Muslims. He was allowing the Fulani Janjaweed to use him. They used him. At the end of the day, he was dumped. They dumped him after using him. Now all the bloods of those he killed, he murdered, and they're in his hands. The Buhari impostor, his girlfriend Aisha Buhari, the vice president Yemi Osinbajo and his wife, and other members of the Fulani cabal calling themselves the presidency. They call themselves the presidency. If you ask them now, okay, where is the president? They will not bring anybody out. They will only bring the Yusuf Abubakar Umar, the impostor from Niger Republic. They call themselves the presidency. No wonder when they fired the grass cutter, the former secretary to the government, Baba Chow, when he was fired, he kept shouting, who is the presidency? Because he too is part of the presidency. So he was wondering, who is the presidency? If he was a Fulani, I don't think they would have done that to him. They wouldn't. They wouldn't have done that to him. Lawan Daura, the former DGSS, was removed because the vice president, Yemi Osinbajo, was, in charge of the affairs. So he had to do that. He did that on his own, and now he's suffering from that act. He's suffering from it. They have rendered him, they rendered him useless. His office does not carry any weight. They removed everywhere avenue that, they somehow make money from. They removed all the avenues from him. They removed all those offices just because he dealt with Lawan Daura. So they call themselves the presidency. During the funeral of the late Fulani Chief of Army Staff, they were all absent during that funeral. They were absent. And the reason why they were absent was because they were afraid of the unknown gunmen. After the story went viral that some eyewitnesses saw during the military plane crash at Kaduna, they saw two men jump out of the plane with parachutes, and when they got to the ground, they vanished immediately. And that got the cabal worried and scared. This Nigerian government are afraid. They are afraid. And that was why they were absent at the funeral. Thank you, my brothers and my sisters, for watching this video. Thank you for supporting this channel. Please watch out for the next, and bye-bye for now.